I brought a show and tell. I'm going to pass it around. It's a zine. I don't know, in the 80s and early 90s, people made these zines, and this one's kind of racy. It was made by my friend Diana Garcia. It's called Bad News Bingo, Bitch Goddess Issue 12. So, and it's awesome, and it has collages and artwork by Joe Hoppe, Polly Hoppe, Albert Huffstickler, John Cutea, and me. And it's just fun to look at, so I'm going to pass this around while I read. Yeah. I was going to read from it, but then I've changed my mind. And this is a book of Albert's called The Walking Wounded, and it is about his time spent in a nursing home here in Austin. And I think it speaks to me particularly because I spend a lot of time in an assisted living place with my mom and getting to know the people there. And so I'm going to read a few poems of Albert Huffstickler's, Huff. I called him Albert. And the first is Wanda's Lament. And there are many poems about Wanda in this book. Wanda's Lament. Wanda's ex-husband proposed remarriage the last time she was up there. She talked it over with me when she got back. Everybody's got to have somebody to hold on to, she told me. Everybody needs somebody. Today she called him to talk about the blood test, and he denied the whole business. Claimed he was drunk when they talked and didn't remember a thing. Why, it would ruin us both, he told her. What do you think of that? Wanda asked me. That is cold-blooded, I told her. She sat with the ashes drifting around her, the room full of shadows. He gets real affectionate when he's drunk, she explained. Sober, he's just as cold as an iceberg. I stood in the cold for 45 minutes after work, waiting for a cab. It was dark when I got home, and the lighted building was a comfort. I think what elemental creatures we are, what we really have to have, warmth, a friend to talk to, food, coffee, tobacco. It probably wouldn't have worked. He'd have stayed drunk and she'd have stayed lonely. But dreams die hard, and Wanda was hurting tonight. Peace to her dreams of comfort and companionship. Peace to all that is human and lonely. We're holy because we're mortal and vulnerable. If there's anything God envies us, it's that. This one is called Old Man Passing Through a Doorway. I can't see very well anymore, so I'm trying to hold it in the light and just the right distance from my face. Okay, here goes. I'm looking for that place inside you where everything passes through you, where you're like rain, giving and receiving at the same time as you pass on to new identities. That place where fate and destiny are one and nothing is required. I'm looking for that moment's stillness, where everything becomes crystal clear, and you see yourself as from a distant hill or a star, everything in perspective, the good and the bad balanced and the same, all the moments of your life leading to this moment, then spreading out from it in perfect order, no questions asked. I'm looking for that time that is all time condensed into a single moment, then spreading out in all directions infinitely like a stone dropped into the water. I'm searching my mortality from end to end for just that place, having sought it in the stars too long. I watch an old man hobble to the door bent sideways, each step an infinity, then pause in the doorway to gaze into the next room, a common place but a wonder to him. I would move into each moment of my life as totally engrossed as he is, bending to the weight of the planet, then flowing with it. Watching this old man pass through a doorway, I am all men passing into the next moment. The light from the doorway halos the bent head, and for this moment I've found what I'm seeking. And then, I know I read this one last time. I was here 2 years ago for this. Thank you, Joe, for inviting me. And thank you also to Malvern Books. This is awesome. I think Albert Huffstickler, I don't know, he might not be the best poet from Austin. I think he was. He's my favorite poet from Austin. So this is the last poem of his I'm going to read. It's called A Litany for Wanda and the Rest of Us. God's mercy on Wanda, who has no kidneys, who sits on the side of her bed looking way off, dreaming of other places, dreaming of having a kidney and taking off, of getting in her car and going, traveling free, unanchored like a bird, not chained to the God machine 3 days a week, not chained to the old folks and the long nightmares. The long nightmares that will not let her rest in her sleep. God's mercy and blessing on her, and the peace of long dreamless nights, and the silence of slow wakings, and the stillness of stars enfolding her, and the brightness of childhood with its wonder and forgetfulness. Each day's waking new and a blessing. God's mercy on Wanda. She has had enough. She has had enough by any standards, holy or human. She has bled and re-bled, wept her flesh dry. She has lived out her karma and yours and mine and Christ's. Sitting with her too soon wrinkled face, once beautiful, in her gaunt, stricken hands, while the days pass like ghosts behind a curtain of mist, and the life seeps from her day by day by day. God's mercy on Wanda, who has known it all and is bitter and lonely and forsaken, on this planet where men walk past each other without even looking, without even turning their heads, without even speaking. God's mercy on her nights and on her days. God's mercy on her slow, still grief that is like the light fading on a winter day, like the tears of a mother for her lost and stricken son, like the too soon fading of love into the darkness that lies beyond it. God's mercy on Wanda, his lost and forsaken child. God's mercy on Wanda, who has no kidneys. God's mercy on Wanda and on us all forever and ever. And this is a poem I wrote especially for the last time that we did this, and especially for Huff. And it's about why I'm here, which is because I hang out with all these guys over here in the smoky apartment with the shag carpeting, sitting on the floor reading poetry. So Tuesdays, or was it Wednesdays? Huff's apartment on Avenue H. Beige shag, stained walls, smoke thick. Joe, David, Larry, Sylvia, slender and lovely as a tree. Huff, inhaling Pall Malls, or was it Lucky Strikes? Breathing out poetry, dusty border towns, whores, pornography, rehab and retirement homes, hot coffee in thick china cups. We wrote our lives, cars, stars, rhythm tap-tapped, voices, computerized, vulnerable, and soft as peaches. Homelessness in Vietnam, transcendence in a tooth, 1,000 souvenirs of grace. We read our lives to one another. I don't remember the last time I saw him. I suppose I was busy getting a divorce, an MFA, a higher power. But I have his death chance with this inscription: for my friend Annie, keep writing those fine poems. And here it is, 23 years later, another day, and Huff, I have written another poem to read to you.